Hello and welcome to this 1v1 cast of Subcom with Donalbain versus God King Xerxes Noob on Roanoke Abyss. Typically this map is commonly used for Phantom, but it is also a fairly difficult and fun, I suppose, complicated game to play on 1v1. It has been in the ladder before, and I suppose it's in the ladder again because here I am casting it. Okay, so yeah, build orders. We're going to see a land factory, maybe 2 or 3 P-gens go down, then an air factory. That's from Donalbain. God King Xerxes Noob probably is doing the very similar thing. He's got a P-gen going down, maybe he's a little bit ahead in the build order. I'm going to speed up the early game a bit because it's just going to be +1, shall we? Because this game might take a while. Okay, I'm really curious to see how many P-gens he's going to build before he goes for his air factory, or even Maxes. He's just... that ACU is all about the P-gens, and there's actually quite a lot of reclaim on this map, so that makes a lot of sense. And he also really needs to get his air out for, quickly as well, because you need to get those transports to get those supporting islands. It needs to happen. 5 P-gens! Okay, that commander is not moving, he is just all about the P-gens. So, this one here too. 5 P-gens, air factory. Is that the better? Are we going to go to a 6th? 6! That's exciting. Yep, okay, so these guys know what they're about. Okay, so what's happening here is that we've got these 4 supporting islands here. Typically, obviously, the closest 2 are yours, while the other 2 are your enemies. You've got these little islands here, which you typically just want to send an engineer to claim those maxes. Now with the drops, it's very viable to drop on your islands and get them, but what I've also seen happen, and fairly common, is you can actually do a combat drop on your enemy's island and fight and contest it, being the aggressive of an advantage. You know what you're doing, you're a little bit more prepared. What this can mean is that your island, you're just going to ignore for a little bit. You take your enemy's island, and you take your island, so you might have 2 versus the enemy's 1. I've seen that used to quite some effect. We've got these engineers going to the islands almost at exactly the same time, so that's exciting. Okay, the air factory has gone down after 10 T1 P-gens, so maybe that's the magic number. Let's go down over here. 8, that's 9. That's so 9 P-gens from God King Xerxes Noob, and straight away a transport's going to come out, and then interceptors, not scouts, interceptors, and scout first. You know, interceptor first here, so interceptor and scout. So he's probably going to be hunting this interceptor, but hunting the transport, but I don't think it's gonna have some time. It is super important to go navy on this map as well, because obviously it is an ocean, and we should see a lot of T1 frigates banned because that's just super effective. But T2 and T3 navy is also in the offing. Nukes are also fun, and considering the length of this game, I expect we might see all sorts of fun and exciting shenanigans. Okay, so God King Xerxes Noob has been scouting quite aggressively. I like the fact he's sent his commander to the island. I feel that's actually a fairly good use. He's only worth about 2 engineers in terms of bull power, so it's enough bull power here. And if he sends his ACU to the island, it's just his. He's not going to be able to contest much at all. So we've got 2 engineers doing a drop here, and he's going to do an aggressive drop over here with 2 very brave engineers. So 2 very brave engineers are going to land on this island. I don't like the fact that Donalbain isn't building any T1 transports at all. I really don't like that. He's going to be far too delayed going for his supporting islands. And, well, I think Donalbain knows about this. I think he does. That transport won't belong to the world. That bomber should be enough to clear those engineers out. Come on, at least find the transport, will ya? Come on. No, don't tell me this transport's going to survive. He's been duped. Oh my goodness. Oh, here comes Donalbain's transport. So now we've got... Yep, that's not going to work. Okay, so it was a nice attempt. Xerxes Noob has his 1 island here. Donalbain's going to get it too. And Xerxes is going to get his other island here pretty soon. So I like the aggressive play from Xerxes. I liked it. I would like Donalbain's response too. It was effective. Hey, this one is going to come down here and cause some shenanigans as well. That's fun. Oh my. I like the fact that he just put a few T1 units just to help take out any drop. Got some anti-air as well, so that one is not going to be very effective. Yep, that's it. He's gone. Oh my, he's gone. Okay, so what else are we seeing? We've seen some T1 factories coming up. We've seen frigates. The frigate spam has begun, and the frigate spam is going to be real. Now, whether naval battle fights is a big deal, because that means ships leave a ton of reclaim. So if you can secure the reclaim field from the Navy, that's going to give you a huge advantage in terms of winning the game. That's Xerxes, in case you were wondering. Just strolling through the forest. Where the hell's he going? Like, you're walking past all these mexes. He's going to reclaim specifically this rock in particular. You might not think this is important, but it is. Okay, and he's done. That's it. This is the rock you want, buddy. The big one. Because as we all know, bigger is better. So, both players have presence on their two islands, but some quantity of presence. Donalbain has left his ACU on his island building. I don't hate it, but I do feel that the ACU definitely could have progressed on the other islands. It's got two T2 mexes. Xerxes has similar, going for the third. So very similar eco-wise actually. Very, very similar eco-wise at this point in the game. It should be noted that it's a little bit of a mismatch. Xerxes, I think, is ranked about 29 and Donalbain is ranked about 80. So Xerxes is definitely the favorite in this one in terms of ratings anyways. And you may notice I tend to cast high skill games, and that's generally what I find interesting and what I like to watch. But generally I'm just interested in competitive close matches, and you can generally find those in the high ranked games. But if you want your replay cast, if you have a good match, please send it to me and I will cast it. You don't have to be particularly good, just an interesting match is all I ask for. And that'll be fun. There are many ways to enjoy Subcom, and you don't have to play at the competitive level to enjoy it. Okay, so I like the fact they just send one frigate to the other side raided. You can just sail around these islands a little bit, just cause trouble. It is so annoying. Just split up your ships like this. Donalbain has definitely split up his ships a bit more than Xerxes. Xerxes has I would say a critical mass of ships in the center here to use. I like the submarines because they can kill the frigates, but they can't get shot back. But I kind of feel if you're going to go for frigate spam, then the submarines are a little bit unnecessary. Maybe they're just there to make sure his enemies doesn't build submarines. Frigates have much more DPS than submarines has. Good night. That was a poor choice. This one too. Donalbain just gifted 2 frigates to his enemy for no gain, I'd say. Let's turn the sound down a little bit. Okay, so what's happening now? The T1 ships is out. Donalbain must know he's behind in the T1 race of ships, so he definitely gonna have to up his game in terms of ships. Yeah, he's going submarines. Maybe he feels that they're a good counter to all the frigates that are up there. We've gained T2 power down for Donalbain. That's nice. No T2 power from Xerxes yet. I think that's okay. You can actually survive on T1 power for a fair bit, even if it is a little bit inefficient. 3 air factories, so going for the air play. Going for the naval play too. Xerxes just seems to be ahead, really. A nice line of ships. But we've got 2 T2 Navy out for Xerxes, and this is going to be a real threat. When you get a bunch of destroyers up, they can kite frigates all day long. Although they can very, very easily be swamped by T1 frigates very effectively. When you get enough destroyers, this no longer becomes practicable, just because you have such a concentration of firepower with the destroyers. Some more naval factories here. So yeah, definitely a lull in the fighting. They kind of agreed that the halfway part of the map is generally where they're going to be. What is often I felt overlooked, and I've had a little bit of success in this game as well, is if you can do drops on your enemy's island, if you can sneak 2 transports here, just like T1 Lobos or T1 Ardi, you can actually get a lot of damage done, especially the T2 PJ. You just land some T1 Ardi here, you can do a lot of damage. But and you can just sail them, fly them around the corner of the map and drop them. I've done before, it has been successful. I think is that what Donalbain was exactly trying to do, but it didn't work because he flew over ships. I think that possibly was what Donalbain was trying to do, but yeah, don't fly over your enemy's fleet. It won't work. Donalbain is just losing his frigates in penny packets, and I don't like it at all. He needs to get his fleet concentrated. He needs to go T2 Navy, or he is going to be left behind. Xerxes is screaming ahead in the eco, so it seems. So Donalbain has got his work cut out for him. I would say that's definitely true. This is a vulnerable mech to upgrade to T2. All of these are. It's going to struggle to defend that. I hear bombs. I don't know where they were bombing. Oh, it must be this guy over here. He has got 1 kill. Good job to him. Okay, so yep, Donalbain has got the concave or something of a concave, but then these ships kind of got lost. Ship micro, you need to do it properly. This is not properly at all. This is split, and now he's losing his ships in the penny packets again. Oh jeez. This is Donalbain, you have to keep your ships together. You're just gonna, and now you're gonna get sandwiched. This is terrible. This is not good at all. And destroyers are going to be coming out for Xerxes. There it is. Really soon. So Donalbain is ahead in the eco. So he must have been upgraded to just going mad on the eco. T2 mechs is upgraded. Do we have any T2 mechs here? We do. So that's cool. That's what's happened. Xerxes went for the ship spam. Donalbain went for the eco spam. And I think it's working in Donalbain's favor now. Xerxes has the ship concentration and power, but if Donalbain can convert his eco advantage into just raw ships for the time being, that will give him a good advantage. But these mechs I don't think are going to survive. So those mechs are not going to survive. I would. What's happening? I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe it's paused to upgrade manually. I think that might be what's happening there. But I would not be upgrading these mechs at all. One thing I might do is build some land factories in the middle of the map, just because I like his building the second radar because he knows one is probably going to die. There's some more land factories, so once the ships do leave, there might be a land factory surviving, and then you can reclaim the island. Just put it in the center, it can sometimes help. This is some long reclaim beams. But if Donalbain isn't able to get his navy out, he's going to definitely lose his islands. And all the eco on him as well. So I would like to see many more T1 naval factories from Donalbain. And just more support on his destroyers. Okay, he's got a destroyer out here, but Xerxes' fleet here is just bigger. Only 1 destroyer. Okay, but that's what he needs to destroy the mechs. The frigates can't do it, but the destroyer can. He's heading to destroy on the other side, so I like the way that Xerxes has split up his fleet. He's harassing both of the islands, and I'd say fairly effectively too. Donalbain isn't able, or hasn't yet been able to stop or really limit the harass at all. Yeah, just losing his mechs. I don't like this. Still able to maintain the eco. Do we have any T3 mechs coming out? You're going torpedo bombers? That's not a poor choice at all. Does he? Yeah, Donalbain definitely has the aircraft interceptors, or does he? No, I don't think he does. They're probably about an equal parity in aircraft. The torpedo bombers will definitely be able to kill 1 or 2 destroyers, hopefully. Okay, it's able to bully Xerxes just away. Xerxes kind of refusing the fight. Hopefully Xerxes will come up this side of the island and just hopefully take out those 2 mechs as well, while taking out this mech here too. This is Xerxes has been really careful with choosing when and where to fight his navy. I quite like that. And this is it. This is the destroyer just going to cut these frigates and just smash them. There's 1 destroyer there, but it is not enough by itself. It's starting to generate a fair bit of reclaim here, so there's definitely something Donalbain can think about. He's starting to try to reclaim these navy wrecks. Hey, the aircraft are coming in, the speeder bombers are coming in. Xerxes' interceptors are completely out of position. We get some stealth boats and cruisers out from Xerxes, so that's good, but completely the wrong spot. trying to see what the torpedo bombers were targeting. I think they might have gotten a destroyer. Okay, one of them got 1 kill, so almost certainly killed a destroyer. So I like that. The interceptor's coming here too. What I really like is Donalbain did 1 flyover, he got his kill, and then he GTFO'd, not giving battle to the interceptors, and now he might come in again, or I'd almost like to see him go for the other side of the map. He probably doesn't know about this cruiser yet. Stealth boards for Cybern are super useful, because if the UEF don't have radar of where the ships are, then they can't shoot based on radar signatures, and that really diminishes the range of the destroyers. They have to get visuals on their ships, and that means flying aircraft in and over. Just increases the micro burden quite a lot. There it is. The destroyer survives. That's a shame. But 1-2 hits and it'll be gone. Okay, so Xerxes is flying up, sailing up the east side of the West Island, taking off the T2 mexes. And we're heading towards eco parity between these two players now, especially if that mex gets taken out too. Donalbain in a slight advantage. I like that he's placing down the second land factory there. Much later than I would have liked it to have been. The torpedo bombers are now coming to the left side of the map. Completely juking these interceptors. I really like what he's doing here, but he couldn't have known there was a cruiser here. But now he's probably on target and the cruiser is gone. So the top bombers are good, except for the fact that they're getting completely smashed by ship anti-aircraft fire. Cruisers are, I mean, bulwarks are great. They're one of my favorite units. I don't know why he's building a Cooper. Coopers are only really good against submarines, and I don't see Donalbain going for a lot of submarines. This amount of well, I guess there are a few submarines, but this amount of submarines you can generally fairly easily deal with just by the torpedoes on destroyers. I think that Cooper would probably be better off being a destroyer, to be quite honest. But this is a bad fight for Donalbain to be taking. He's coming in single file into this mass of Xerxes ships. This is a bad fight to be taken for Donalbain. Run away to your island. Let the wrecks be there. Oh, this is a hard... Oh, okay. At least he didn't lose too many to the ground fire from the ships. Hey! And more fights on this side of the map. This is what naval combat looks like in the 27th century. This game is amazingly pretty for its day. It really is just really impressive. Whoop, there we go back. Okay, so destroys trading blows here, destroys trading blows here. Donalbain trying to maintain control of his islands, and he generally is. He's keeping most of his mexes alive. Losing T2 mexes here and there definitely costing him. Xerxes Noob is just pumping out more and more ships, but Donalbain is able to secure his eco lead. He's not grown his eco lead for the moment, but he is maintaining it, which I think is fairly impressive considering how many ships Xerxes Noob has out on the map and how much harass he's been doing. But Donalbain really wants to think about getting the reclaim, and he is getting some. I think he is definitely giving some orders on the patrol route here. Yeah, you go get that reclaim. I like that. But I don't think there's any sense for Donalbain to be fighting Navy here. He doesn't have enough to break through to the island. He must know that. It just means the wrecks are going to be here. Maybe he's trying to keep the fighting away from his mexes here, but T1 mexes, I really would definitely build more land factories on both islands just to be able to rebuild engineers and build capacity when he needs it. I feel like we're in a stage of the game where players can think about going T3 mexes. But not yet. No one's really put it into the commitment left yet. Hey, there's a reclaim here that Donalbain has missed. Dude, there's reclaim on your island you didn't get. That makes me sad. And the trees too, right? No, Xerxes Island he reclaimed bare, as you should. No trees alive, right? Gotta deforest all the islands, get all the resources, get all the carbon, and turn them into ships of war. You go, Cooper. At least the Cooper is doing things, so that's good. The torpedo bombers are coming in. I'm really suspicious as to how cost effective these torpedo bombers are going to be against so much T1 AA and T2 and cruiser AA. I'm not sure the torpedo bombers at this stage of the game are going to be cost effective. They're actually quite expensive, and especially if the wrecks are being left so far from the map. I would much rather these things be ships, and I think Donalbain is misstepping here. Letting the torpedo bombers be torpedo bombers and not be ships instead. Otherwise, the players are just both doubling down on T2 Navy. I don't see any... There's no major eco happening. There's no major airplay happening. They're both just more ships. Gunships. Okay, thank you. I'm glad Donalbain has given up on the torpedo bombers, I hope. Now, what I hope from the gunships is that he's going to use them to fly around and just try and raid eco. He's definitely going to have enough interceptors to make sure... he doesn't lose all of them to interceptors. So I like the fact that he's now choosing smaller targets. This is a smaller clump of ships. He took out a frigate, that was a mistake. But if he gets enough torpedo bombers on a small enough group of ships, he can't completely wreck it. So I'm glad he's avoiding the bigger concentrations. But still avoiding Xerxes interceptors really well. It shows, right? Not once has Xerxes interceptors engaged the torpedo bombers, so that's good. Raz. From what I understand, I haven't checked into it too closely, but Raz has been nerfed very badly, I think, from what it was earlier. I think a T3 Max would be much more cost efficient than a Raz at this point, or even... maybe he wants the power without having to go to T3. I'd appreciate some comments about the cost effectiveness of going Raz before a T3 Max. Maybe... Presumably he is doing it for power reasons, not for mass reasons. One can only hope. Okay, so I like the fact that these gunships are going around the side. Can Xerxes see them? Does he know about them? He doesn't. I don't know where the interceptors are going. Maybe they're caught up on radar. No, they just go to the island. So he doesn't know about those gunships. He doesn't know about that raid. Hey, oh jeez. So he split up his interceptors and this... Oh no, just outmaneuvered, outmicroed perhaps. Just gets smashed up from behind, got this other group of interceptors coming in, but he's trying to juke them, right? He's trying to keep the interceptors away from the gunships, and I guess he's kind of doing that. Definitely drawing away now, but is this the right target to be going for the gunships? T2 Mexes is always good, but shouldn't he be going for the higher concentration of T2 Mexes? And, no, the interceptors are definitely the wrong players now. These gunships aren't going to achieve what they need to achieve. The interceptors are on them, and they're going to all die. Oh jeez. I definitely see what Donalbain was trying to do. He's just trying to keep these interceptors away from his gunships, but it didn't work out the way he wanted it to. But oh my goodness, I just look at the eco now, and Donalbain is screaming ahead in eco. Screaming. What's happened? This couldn't just have been the Raz, right? Where's all this eco coming from? He has got this many T2 Maxes. That's a lot, right? I'm not going to do the maths on right now, but that's a lot. And Xerxes Noob has not quite the same amount of T2 Maxes. Or clearly, there's no one's in T3 Maxes. That's a lot of mass. It's a huge mass differential at this stage in the game. Some of it is definitely from Reclaim. But if this is maintained, then Donalbain is going to win this game in easy mode unless Xerxes is really able to do something. Does he know how bad he is behind eco? He's just dedicated to the T2 Navy. He wants to win this game in T2 Navy, and I don't think it's going to happen. He's got unupgraded T1 Maxes on his main island, and this isn't going to work. Well, he is messing up Donalbain's eco on the side island here, but Donalbain's still ahead 50%, but that's going to be a lot less when he loses these Maxes. That's a brave gunship. It's not going to work. Okay. So what's happening? Air repair. Yeah, I like these. Right? It's much more cost efficient to repair aircraft, especially when you get to ASS. Repairing them just makes so much sense. So we've got battle cruisers coming out. Is that battle cruiser or a battleship? I think it's a battle cruiser. Yeah, that's a battle cruiser. It's got two guns per turret. That's a battle cruiser. Almost sure of it. So that's going to absolutely dominate the T2 Navy game. So that's going to give Donalbain a huge advantage. Neptune's just wrecked T2 Navy. But this is going to give... This fight here, I don't like it. Donalbain doesn't need to be fighting here. He's not going to trade well, and he's just going to leave the Rex here. I think it's a poor choice. Hey, the Neptune is out. Fantastic. This guy has got some work to do, and he's got the right targets to do them on. And that's T2 Navy. If there was battleships coming out, then it would definitely perform worse. But Donalbain has completely lost his island now, so that's a problem. Definitely a problem. He wants to send engineers to reclaim this island almost immediately. But for the time being, he is going to send this Neptune to this right side island because he wants to protect his mexes, which I think is a good choice. I can't imagine Donalbain knows he's so far ahead in eco. You wouldn't expect to be. Not with being a whole island down, you wouldn't think that you're in a better economic situation. I wonder if he knows. I wonder if Xerxes knows. This is exactly what you want. You want to be destroying engineers all the time, every time. Kill that build capacity. This fleet has no business being here. You don't even have an island to protect, and you're just going to lose against the bigger force. You just need to disengage entirely. Get some reinforcements, and then you can try and find a battle you can actually win at. Just, I hope he doesn't let his Neptune get swamped. He needs to leave it with enough support. I would keep the Neptunes together. It gives a concentration of force that allows him just to win either naval battle. Just get concentration of navy here, swoop down here, wreck this island. But he's trying to play both sides of the same island, which is probably why he is a better player than me. And probably wins. Okay, so I did mention that he needs to reclaim this island almost immediately, and he is doing literally exactly that thing. So there's a good play. He's reclaiming those mexes, he's getting that mass back, so that's fantastic. And with a bit of luck, he's going to secure this reclaim field. The Neptune should be closer, but not going to fault him for that too much. Hey, you go Neptune. You got 5 kills already. Fantastic. And the one frigate's running around the back. Xerxes is just, he has committed hard to T2 Navy. He doesn't have a new or different or better plan. That's his one plan, that's his one move, and he's committing to it. This Neptune is too close for my liking. It could be kited more effectively. Oh jeez, this Neptune is going to get swamped. This is exactly the one thing that I don't want to see this happen to this Neptune. If you just kited it, this Neptune would just dominate. I mean, it's still doing well, but it's taken much more damage than it needed to. That damage should have been going to frigates and the false radar signatures. He could lose this. Oh jeez, he absolutely did not need to lose this Neptune here. Hopefully he doesn't still. This poor island. There was a Neptune coming this side. Here it is. Okay, so yeah, for the first time, I would say Donalbain absolutely has a naval advantage on the left side of the map for the first time. Here, I'm not sure who actually has a naval advantage. Oh no, with these ships, I think Xerxes has the naval advantage. If he groups up these ships and just charges, he will kill that Neptune for sure. Taking damage, standing still, which is a little bit fortunate. And yeah, more fighting over here with Neptune. The Neptune isn't in the fighting yet. Just bring out more Neptunes. Now, if I was Donalbain, I would make sure I keep the scout on Xerxes, because if he starts going battleships, those Neptunes start becoming much less effective. And Neptunes are crazy effective against T2 Navy, but they are not a good choice against battleships at all. So there's actually a fairly small window, I find, for Neptunes to be really effective, and I would tend to expect that window for Donalbain to be closing really swiftly, but because Xerxes isn't just building destroyers, he's just sticking to T2 Navy, these Neptunes are going to remain relevant for much, much longer, and he should be able to kill this Neptune pretty quickly, especially with these reinforcements. This Neptune, I don't think it's going to be enough. He might lose 2 Neptunes here actually, but he really needs to just charge these Neptunes down. Yep. I don't like this at all. This Neptune absolutely did not need to die. This one, neither. I would definitely say this was poor macro from Donalbain. It makes me sad. And look, it's easy to criticize because I'm just looking at the Neptune, but he's got entire eco and 2 different islands and 2 different battles to manage a micro. It's not nearly that easy. It's actually pretty difficult, but it's always sad to see expensive things like Neptunes just being lost when they didn't need to be, and we're gonna lose a third Neptune here. Oh jeez, this actually makes me really sad. At least he's wrecking Xerxes loops on this side of the economy. But the eco gap is shrinking. Xerxes is definitely catching up. And with this reclaim, if this reclaim field is now Xerxes, so this is definitely going to bring Xerxes back into the game. Donalbain, you got it. You can't let your Neptunes be mobbed like this. It doesn't work. Keep building them, but support them with frigates. Frigates are still relevant. The frigates get forced radar signatures, they take hits, they spread damage out, they're still really relevant in this stage of the game. The only time where I really think about stop building frigates is when the naval fighting is particularly long ranged, or if there just physically isn't enough space in the sea. Particularly UAF frigates, because their forced radar signatures are really good. So the right island is going to be completely cleared. Oh jeez. So he might lose this. He doesn't have the naval supremacy on the left hand side either. Okay, so Xerxes is still committing to T2 Navy. It's still his same plan, his same one singular plan. He's still got mexes. I don't know why he's not upgrading. Okay, he's upgrading his mexes now. I don't know why he took so long to upgrade those. And choosing to upgrade these island mexes instead of mexes on his mainland, I thought was a really strange choice. Maybe he thought this mex was particularly more likely to be raided, and that's why he didn't choose to upgrade it. Maybe that's an option. So interesting that Donalbain still maintains an economic lead. Xerxes is, I'm stunned. 40 minutes and he's still on T2 Navy. He doesn't want battleships. He wants nothing to do with battleships at all. We haven't, yeah, Donalbain is on T3 Air, which allows him some interesting options. Xerxes is not. A few strat bombers could cause some real havoc here. The cruisers can kill the strat bombers, so as long as he avoids the cruisers and this massive interceptors, he can. He's got some options. Okay, so he's given away that he has T3 Air. I don't think the players have scouted each other's bases well at all. Maybe I've missed the scouts, but I didn't see many scouts at all. Okay, something interesting is happening here. You can easily win air with this situation. Got torpedo bombers. I don't like this. These when you can build battle cruisers against T2 Navy, torpedo bombers I think are just a mistake. Frigates are actually surprisingly good at taking them out. If you have enough of them, you can just quite easily happily kill torpedo bombers with T1 ship AA, and you've got some belt destroyers in there as well. I don't think this is cost effective at all. Or maybe it is. I'm not sure. Maybe it's evens. Oh, but now that the interceptors are in here. I don't know how I feel about that trade. But maybe it was a ploy to bring the interceptors, and he wants an interceptor battle where he can just win air superiority, and I think he has. So Donalbain has demonstrably got air superiority now. He's got T3 air. He knows Donalbain doesn't. Xerxes doesn't. Xerxes is going T3 PGen, which is probably an indicator that he is going to go T3 air as quickly as possible, because he has to, because there are too many options now, especially with strap bombers as a potential. Broadswords too, maybe? Some stingers now, right? Some stingers can really cause some complete havoc, because it'll be difficult for Xerxes to have anti-air installations everywhere to cover everything. So if Xerxes could build a few stingers, take out the island mexes, and just harass where there aren't any AA cover. That seemed a bit unnecessary, but they're not going to take too much damage from T1 and T2 ship fire, except the cruisers. But he's got the air station facilities to repair his aircraft when they need to be repaired. Okay, I'll prefer the fact that he's microing getting the destroyers with his torpedo bombers. I still feel this is unnecessary. I'd much rather these torpedo bombers be battle cruisers instead. He's still building battle cruisers. He is still building battle cruisers. That is fine. Xerxes still... Hey! Now we know Xerxes has gone super desperate. This is how you know he's gone super desperate. He's just figured he can't win air. He can't win navy. He's given up. He's going for a Hail Mary that is the strategic missile launcher. That's it. He's not as far behind as he might think he is, except for the air part. That's a real problem. But the eco is still fairly comparative in this game. There's been a lot of back and forth, but eco-wise, he's not very far behind. Okay, he's going whole in that missile launcher. He is destroying his factories, destroying his PGens. He just needs a mass to make that missile. He's putting everything in this. If this doesn't work, it's just all over. I don't think Donalbain knows about it. No, I think he does know about it. He does. So he has two options. He has built his strategic missile launcher, which apparently is not an option he is going for. So then he's either going to try and win the game before they can fire its missile. Donalbain really likes his torpedo bombers. When you have enough of them, and I think he does now, they will clear it, right? They will clear this fleet. I'd have rather battle cruisers. I mean, he tried battle cruisers, but he just let them get swamped by the T1 and T2 stuff. So Xerxes is in a troubling situation. What does the tooltip say when you load up the game? It says a strategic missile launcher unassisted makes a nuclear missile in 5 minutes, but this will be assisted. So let's have a quick look see. It is 44:43 now, and you can see how long it's going to take before we get a missile if we get that far into the game. The cruiser is great for attacking targets on the inland of the island. 2 battle cruisers now. Xerxes can't maintain T1 spam to swamp these things. This island is over. So Xerxes is still building ships. He's still choosing to do that while he's trying to complete his missile. Does Donalbain, is he aware of the missile? I wonder if he is aware. He might just not have noticed it, even though he has scouted it. He might just not have noticed it. And the problem with the torpedo bombers is that, okay, sure, they can't attack land targets, right? So they aren't going to be able to help attacking the missile launcher, but this missile launcher has so much work to do. I don't think it's going to be ready in time. That was me just drinking some tea. I also don't like the fact that this missile launcher is so close to the edge of the island. It could have been more central. In the event, it probably won't matter, but further from the coast is better when there are enemy ships bearing down on your island. Xerxes just has absolutely no response to this, no answer whatsoever. And Donalbain will know about that missile launcher soon, even just by accidentally scouting it. And at this point in the game, even if Donalbain takes a nuke to the island here, that won't save Xerxes at all, I don't think. He'll just rebuild. He's got these 2 other islands. He will still have the battle cruisers. Best case scenario, I don't think the nuke even wins the game for Xerxes. I think he is just in an unwinnable situation at this point in the game. The only thing that I can think that could work for Xerxes is an ACU snipe at this point. But yeah. Still building battle cruisers because go in ships. You can be helping. Okay, let's speed this up. I'll slow it down a little bit. There goes the GG. Yeah, no, this game is over. Okay, so let's talk about the things that happened. Like both players early play a lot. Xerxes was a little bit more aggressive, trying to expand to this island. Donalbain responded with a T1 bomber, which worked very effectively. Xerxes committed very hard to T2 Navy and T1 Navy. Donalbain committed to Navy a little less so. Donalbain got an eco advantage. His islands got mercilessly raided continuously by Xerxes, which is great. But through it all, he maintains eco advantage by upgrading his mexes. whereas Xerxes was always at an economic disadvantage almost the entire game. And when Neptunes came on, the Neptunes should have been an easy win for Donalbain, I think. But I definitely think he misplayed them a little bit. He let them get swamped by T1 Navy from Xerxes, and that gave Xerxes an in, right? That gave him an opportunity to maintain relevance in the game longer than I think he should have been able to have been. But Donalbain is committed so hard to his torpedo bombers as well that he was able to completely wreck Xerxes' navy. But honestly, at that point, I think there's very little Xerxes could have done to win the game, and it was really up to Donalbain to end the game as he chose. So I think both players played here very, very well. I was surprised that Xerxes committed to T2 Navy so hard and didn't choose to upgrade or go for a different option or even upgrade the mechs. I don't think we saw a single T3 mechs, and on this such a large map like this, not going to a T3 mechs, I think that surprised me a lot. I definitely would have expected to have seen more upgraded and more ecoing from both players. I must say, I think that both players were on the ball in terms of ship naval reclaim. I think both of them were really good at reclaiming the naval wrecks. They flew in engineers and reclaiming the islands. As soon as they lost the island, they flew in engineers to rebuild them, and that shows just a level of commitment and micro to make sure that they were maintain relevancy in the game and committed and put in their APMs where they needed to be. Okay, thank you for joining me for this game. It was great to have you here, and hope to see you next time.